Joining us now is host of Brad versus Everyone podcast, Brad Polumbo. Brad, always lovely to see you. So Democrats have now reintroduced this legislation. Why is this suddenly their priority?
They're deciding that now is the perfect time to double down on insane and radical ideas, apparently, that most Americans do not support. I mean, this idea that they want to study and pursue of a reparations for slavery, it would cost roughly $14 trillion. They would pay out $350,000 to every Black American at the expense of $91,000 per federal taxpayer to Americans who never owned slaves, whose parents never did, whose grandparents never did, who have no moral culpability. I mean, it's hilarious to me that they would, one, choose now. All they have to do is try to offer a sane alternative to Trump. They're like, no, we'll just push the most divisive, radical stuff imaginable. And two, that they would dare to suggest that that would be healing. I can't imagine anything more divisive than doling up and handing out trillions of dollars and redistributing it along racial lines by the government. It's madness and not at all healing, if you ask me.
Come on, Brad. There's nothing more healing than people who never did anything wrong giving money to people who never suffered any wrong. It's very healing. Don't you know that? Hey, speaking of healing, it seems like nothing can heal Trump derangement syndrome. Those who suffer it just get worse and worse. Take this TikTok influencer, for example, Spencer, he calls himself. He's got 17 million followers, and he's calling for Donald Trump to be assassinated. Have a look.
If you look at historical figures like John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald, or Julius Caesar senators, you might see a very different approach to how people used to handle politics. I'm not advocating for anything extreme, of course. I'm just pointing out that the way politics were handled then is a far cry from how they're handled now.
Now, of course, Spencer does go on to suggest someone from the public should take matters into their own hands and assassinate Trump. So, Brad, what time will police be arriving at Spencer's house today?
Yeah, he's about to get a knock on the door from the Secret Service, and frankly, he should, because it's just unhinged and evil to want to assassinate the people that disagree with you politically. Not have him removed from office, not vote him out next time around, normal things for a liberal American to perhaps be interested in, but to be encouraging when you have 17 million followers. Oh, it'd be such a shame if somebody took a page out of these historical figures. We all know what you mean, babe, and it's not cute, it's not sleek, and you're going to get a knock on the door from the Secret Service, because especially when you think about the fact that Trump has already faced 2 assassination attempts. It is not okay now in this political climate. It's really never okay, but especially now, to be advocating or pushing that kind of thing. It's absolutely reckless and unhinged.
Absolute madness. Seriously, honestly, what is wrong with these people, Brad? Now, speaking of what is wrong with people, a city council in Massachusetts has passed a motion to declare itself a transgender sanctuary. And good grief, Brad, the meeting seemed to descend into a clown show.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me.
Oh, Brad, roll up. The Massachusetts circus is in town. Please, can you try and explain this one to us?
Well, the craziest part of this story, Danica, is that they actually listened. The city council listened to those people and was like, yeah, they make a lot of sense. We should do what they say. And they declared their city a sanctuary city for transgender people to rebuke Trump or whatever, which is just bizarre because Trump has changed a bunch of policies, but nobody's coming to get transgender people. Nobody's coming to arrest them, to do anything to them. Their physical safety is not in danger, but these people are hysterical and seem to have drank a lot of the TikTok Kool-Aid and propaganda. And it's actually sad on a level because they're totally divorced from reality and they've scared themselves to the world's end for no real reason. I mean, disagree with some of Trump's policies if you want, but their safety's not in danger. And honestly, they all want to be Anne Frank so bad. They post about like, oh, the concentration camps are coming soon. It's profoundly disrespectful to all the memories of the people who actually have needed sanctuary, who faced trauma and crimes and human rights abuses. These people want to cosplay oppression so bad, and then I just have no shame about melting down in public over it. It's really a sign of the times, and that's actually my home state of Massachusetts, and this sounds about right, honestly, for what it's like in some pockets.
Well, Brad Polumbo, we always love having you on the program. Thanks for helping us make sense of America
Thanks,
again.
guys.